Hi. Okay, so this podcast is gonna be about how to study in Japan. So all of us here are connected by two things. The first, we are colleagues in work. We work together, and the second is that we studied in Japan. So the reason why we made this podcast is because a lot of our friends always ask us, what is it like studying in Japan? How did you get there? I mean, what are the things to prepare? And we were thinking, why not just make one video about it? So this is going to be a video where we share how did we get to Japan.
Okay, you first.
Yeah, let's go with Andhika first. Maybe we can start by sharing our backgrounds.
Okay.
Maybe you start, where did you go to college? And
Okay, so my college is basically learned Japanese studies for years. So I can speak Japanese, but not that good. And then after graduate, I work in the local and Japanese company for about 3.5 years. And then in 2015, I decided to continue my study. 1 year before, I went to like a Japanese education exhibition in Jakarta, and they held like every year. So I tried to find so many things, so many information about to study in Japan. And then I found one good university that really fit to my preference and my goals. It's located in Kyoto. The name is Doshisha University. Doshisha University is a private university and one of the top in the Kansai area, which is in the west side of Japan.
what did you study?
Business administration.
MBA.
MBA, yeah, MBA, and the global. There's two types of the class, and the global class and the Japanese class. Japanese is mostly about the employee class. So they have employee class. So the class started at night, and then they also have a class in the Saturday and weekends. So basically like that.
And so, but you were in the regular class.
Regular class and the global program. So international class. And basically we are gathered for more than 25 countries with 40 students,
cool.
more than 40 students in one class. So yeah, that's how it goes.
Do you want to start?
Okay, so I first went to Japan in 2012. I still remember clearly, it was March 29. And then I went there for the first time. Before I went to Japan, I actually have no background of Japanese at all. I could introduce myself in Japanese, but that's about it. Like I could read hiragana and katakana, but like that's about it. And then I went to Japan solely just to learn Japanese because I was really interested in Japanese culture and stuff. But then if you want to go to university in Japan, you need a TOEFL for Japan. It's like for
It's
Japanese.
JLPT, right?
JLPT.
Yeah.
So there are 5 levels. So N1 is the hardest, N2, N3, N4 until N5. And N5 is the easiest. But if you want to go to a university, you have to be able to get N2 level. And at least N2 level. But at the time, my skill wasn't that good. So I had to actually take N5 first. I just learned Japanese for 2 years until I actually got back to Indonesia to actually learn more Japanese because I feel like it wasn't enough. First, I want to explain where in Japan.
Yeah,
so I went to this little city called Yamanashi-ken. So it's like 2 hours ride from Tokyo. So it's pretty close to Tokyo, but it's like it's a total countryside. It's a
Rural area.
It's rural. It's not rural, but like there's nothing there. Like literally nothing. The place is filled with obasan and oji-san. Yeah, so I went to a Japanese language school there. Why Yamanashi? Because freaking cheap. Like the rent in Yamanashi is also very cheap.
Compared to big cities, right?
Yeah, compared to Tokyo.
Compared
of course.
to Tokyo.
Yeah, I mean like if you Google Japanese language school in Yamanashi, you definitely get it on the first page because it's very popular among Southeast Asian countries. Unitas.
Unitas.
Oh, you went to Unitas.
I went to
Unitas is very popular actually.
Popular.
Yeah, it's very.
It's like a Kofu, right?
Yeah,
Kofu.
yeah,
The
Kofu,
city,
Kofu.
the city is called Kofu.
So you went to Nihongo Gakko, which is like Japanese language school in Yamanashi.
Yeah, for 2
2
years,
and then you went
I
back.
went back to Indonesia because I feel like it wasn't enough, and I don't
Okay.
think I want to continue my study in Japanese because I feel like it's a waste of money. So like I feel like I could learn it by myself until I get N2 at least. So I went back to Indonesia. I took N2 and got back to Japan again since I already got my N2.
How long were you in Indonesia? Like after you finished your Nihongo Gakko and then you went to Indonesia.
6 months, kinda.
6 months and then you went back to Japan.
I went back to
So
Japan
you used to
because
come back first.
Yeah.
after.
You didn't know that.
Oh, we
You
didn't know.
never told
We
us.
didn't.
it's like
Okay.
if you finish school and then you don't have any more student visa, you can
Right,
you
right,
can
right,
stay in
right,
Japan.
right, right. And then
I
so
mean,
you went back.
You can stay unless if you get caught, but like
Yeah.
no, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. There's a lot of
illegal
That's the
way.
word. I went to it's how do I explain it? Vocational.
It's like a vocational school.
Vocational school.
Vocational
It's
school.
Senmongakko
Senmongakko. It's
in
called
Japanese.
Yeah. So like it's very
Specialized.
It's very specific. Like what you want to do after you graduate, it's like you'll get the job that you really want. It's like a community
college?
Yeah, it's like a community
Okay.
college. So like you learn what you really want to be your career.
So from early age, you were already like focused on just like one.
Yeah, so for just one
thing, right?
thing,
Yeah,
one
one thing.
major. So I was majoring in design and illustration, but I also took like it's basically an IT school. So you have to learn coding and stuff, even though like you really want to be focused on the design and illustration. But since it's an IT school, so you have to be able to pass certain levels to get into the class.
Okay, so let's stop there for the background introduction. Can we go to mine?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Of course.
Okay, so my part. So I finished my university here, my bachelor degree in international relations in 2014, and then at that time I was told to find a job, but I felt like it wasn't there yet, the drive to work. So but I still tried though. I tried applying to companies. I tried applying for master degree as well. And then one day, there's this advertisement about study in Japan, in Jakarta, and I went there. And then there's this Waseda University booth, and then I went there, and then they had this brochure. And then I don't know, when I look at it, it just suddenly I spot this very specific faculty and this very specific major, and I tried applying, and then
Which
eventually, it's in Waseda University for the master degree. The faculty is named Graduate School of International Culture and Communication Studies,
Okay.
short G6.
Jesus.
good.
Yeah. So I went through all the hurdles of applying. I got accepted. So yeah, I graduated from university in 2014, and then I started my master degree in 2015 April. And then it was a study that took 2 years, so I finished in 2017. How about we start about the, like I said, the hurdles of first picking the school, picking the study, and the process of applying. Yeah, let's talk about it. Who wants to start? Okay, then maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
sure.
go. Okay, so how did you know that Doshisha Daigaku is the right one?
So it took me like 2 years
Oh my God,
to
okay.
decide. So basically, I'm started to think to continue my study back in 2013, which is 2 years before when I arrived in Japan. I went to this exhibition 2 times, and then the first one is I only want to know how the education system or university thinks, whatever it is, the staff, the faculty. At the first time when I went to this exhibition, I took all of the brochures. There's so many brochures there. So when you go to one booth, they will explain a little bit about the universities and about the good faculties that they have, like they specialize in one field or many things. And then I took all the brochures. I also discussed with my family as well, with my parents. And then at the second time when I went there, I already have a focus, which is I want to get the MBA. I want to get this business administration. And I applied to 3 different universities at the time. Doshisha, and then Ritsumeikan. Yeah, that's also one of the most popular for the MBA. The last one is Globis. The Globis MBA because global business, yeah. Okay. Globis in Tokyo.
Okay, so at first for your bachelor degree, you had Japanese studies, right?
Right.
So why did you decide on MBA, on a business school for your master degree? It's a really like a jumping, like you know, a different, I don't know, cliff.
You know what? Because it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
MBA.
You can accept that.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, the MBA is like one of the most prestigious degrees, studies, and everything. A lot of the CEO up there, like they graduate from the good university and they have the MBA or something. I don't have any like a plan to become like a teachers or the really about the language things when I have the background. So I want to jump to other field, which is the business, and I feel that is really relate to my what I want in the future in 10 to 15 years. So I decided to go there, and then I tried to find a university that offers a global class, which is like taught in English, and then a combination between Japanese and international communities and all of the things. I down to these 3, and then I also take a look about the fees and about the cities, because I will live there for 2 years. So it's really important for me to know the environment, to know the what else that I've been through for those 2 years. And also Doshisha is give me the first decision. I mean, the fastest. It was the first one that accepted me.
Wait, did you get accepted to all 3?
No, the Globis one, I think I don't know, the application didn't go well.
Right, okay.
And then for the Ritsumeikan, so after I accepted in Doshisha, they still asked me about the several things. So Doshisha is quite quick response first, and then and especially this is in Kyoto. In Kyoto, I think is really good environment, really good cities for students. A lot of international students there, and then that's one of my biggest jump point to decide this is gonna be my next journey.
Sasha, do you agree that choosing the city first is also important?
Obviously.
So which goes first, the school or the city? Or
crap.
Well, quite hard, but at first I didn't realize that city is really important factors.
Of course. Yeah, it's a really important factors. I agree because so you know, back when I first decided that I wanted to go to Yamanashi instead of Tokyo, is that first, of course, obviously,
because it's
a lot cheaper. So I went to the Japanese language school through an agent, right? So the agent actually introduced you about the school, what's the difference between the
agent in Indonesia.
About the school in Tokyo, or so Unitas has 2 branches. It's in Tokyo and then Yamanashi. Right. He told me about everything about what's the difference between the one in Tokyo and the one in Yamanashi. So basically they just explain, other than being very cheap, the Yamanashi school is much more quieter. You will be more focused on your Japanese instead of going out, instead of playing
nightlife.
I mean, it would be super distracting, right? Especially when you want to learn something.
But then for your Senmongako, the community college, you chose Osaka, which is it's a totally different thing. Yamanashi is a village, and Osaka is the second biggest city. So of course you can't really use your judgment of you want to focus on school, so you want to go to quiet city.
But then again, it's totally different because I kind of want to taste Japan in a different way. I mean, I've tried Japan in a very quiet type of Japan, but then I kind of want to taste Japan in a more Japan. You know, when you see Japan, modern Japan. When you see Japan, you'd think of Tokyo. you'd think of the night. I mean, I wouldn't say nightlife, but like the hectic pace of
crowded people,
crowded
like
people,
trains.
the fast pace. Like I really want to taste that. I really want to experience that as well. So I pick Osaka. But I mean, I've been to Tokyo as well. But compared to Tokyo, Osaka is much more
convenient.
I don't agree.
No.
I don't agree.
No.
I mean,
can I curse? I fucking love Osaka.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just like how different we are. I mean, maybe they
you never
really
lived there. You never lived there. I have lived in Tokyo. I have lived in Osaka.
I do often go to Osaka because it's really close to Kyoto. It's like
the
1
best.
hour.
The people there. Oh man, Osaka.
Yeah, I
Psycho
agree.
Yeah, it's
Psycho. They're the best.
still livable, right? I mean,
It's
Osaka
very livable. Like
compared
if you
to
compare if you compare the rent
the rent.
with Tokyo, like you can
Yeah,
get
of course.
like
It's very different.
a very nice
Very
rent for
nice
only
rent.
Yongmang there.
Yeah,
for 4 million. 4 million.
$400 in USD, $400
4 million
but like
rupiah.
you can get like a really bad one in Tokyo, but like you can get like a super nice and convenience rent apartment for like only like 4 million rupiah. It's very convenient.
I want to ask to you guys, like, how was the process of applying? I mean, from my personal experience, it was really such a long process.
It's really long.
It's such really long.
It's
and
really long
they
for me
require
too.
so many documents.
Right?
And
then,
you know how people always regard Japanese people are so strict. They are so
Right.
Yeah.
straight.
I mean,
it's true.
It's true. Do you guys need the GLPD as well?
I didn't need one because
I
we
didn't.
because we went to international faculty.
I
so,
needed it.
of course.
Yeah.
But for me, because mine is the management business schools, need to like a specific test called GMAT. It's graduate management admission test. It's like a TOEFL, but it's the hardest test that I've been doing. So yeah.
Do you have to take like any other subjects other than Japanese and English, like math, toka?
Not really.
Oh,
in my case, it's not really. And then I need to prepare a lot of documents, recommendation letters from my boss, and then my former lecturers. I went to post office like more than 10 times to send the documents. And then the interview as well. So I had 2 interviews.
You had an interview?
Yeah, I had an interview. So one is preliminary, like what kind of things that you need to prepare first. And then the second one, a more serious one. What you're gonna do with your degree and how it will be.
Wait, was it through Skype or?
Skype.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then like after you graduate, how you will apply your skills to your society, to your country, to your
I got
business.
asked that as well.
Wow. It's,
Yeah, it's the same.
It's crazy.
In my case, I can resonate with you that preparing all the documents were really tiring, struggling.
Yeah.
But I got lucky because I didn't have to have an interview. I just needed to submit all the documents. I don't know if you had this, but you had to make so many essays.
Yeah, essays.
So
I
like,
made
what's your
essays as well.
motivation? What is yourself in like 5 years? How this degree and study going to help you in the future? So but I got
Exactly the
lucky
same.
because I didn't have to go to an interview, and because in Waseda the administration is the best.
Yeah.
So it's the best. I mean, they were very responsive. They're very quick to respond.
Cool. Yeah.
And then I got in.
Yeah.
So let's just jump into our like summarization of our tips and trick on if for all of you who want to study in Japan, please do it because it has been like, at least for me, one of my golden years in my 27 years of life.
Yeah.
So okay, I have summarized all the tips. So please, Sasha and Andhika add me. First, the tips is research. If you wanna to study in Japan, you go to like Education Expo, Japanese Education Expo, Bazaar.
You can go if you live in Jakarta, like you can go to Japan Foundation. Like they will give you so much information about like a lot of schools, but then again you have to search by yourself. Like you have to make sure that you really want to go to that exact school. Like you have to be able to find a lot of infos and like bits about your school.
Or if you really want to go to Japan but you still don't know where to go, which school, which city, what kind of subject, there's so many information out there.
Yeah.
Again, go to Japanese Education Expo, go to Japan Foundation, go to the one in Sudirman.
a JASO.
Jaso as well.
Jaso,
I mean,
yeah.
they're very helpful. Yeah,
Japanese
so-
Association for Students Service. Yeah, it's like that.
I mean, if you're lazy enough, like you can actually. I mean, there's like a lot of like Japanese school agency. So like I went.
Agency. Go to an agency. as well.
Go to an agency that they'll definitely help you with a lot of things. You can ask them anything. So like I mean, for my case, like I asked an agency to help me with my school as well. So like they actually just kind of provided me with like a lot of like a list of schools. So like the one that interests me was like the one I mentioned earlier.
They help with your application, right?
They help me through
Application.
a lot of informations, and then they're like the wingman of me and the people from my school there in Osaka. So like it's very helpful.
Tips number 2 is that if you are still confused about where do you want to go, like which universities, maybe you can start with the city. So if you are really into like big city like
Kansai.
Tokyo or Osaka, or like you want to go to like some very village-ish cities in
that
Japan,
works too.
maybe you can start with the city, and in the city you can really see, you can narrow it down to what universities they have.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, because there's this admiration of cities. So, and you're gonna live there for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
So you really gotta be in a city that you really like.
Right.
Tips number 3: please be. It's not persistent. It's
like strong-willed.
Strong
please be
will,
strong.
yeah.
Please be strong because
You have to be.
Don't be like the homesick for
So
every week.
yeah, I mean
It's
like
really-
if you're not ready, and like so I have. So like this I have a story. So like
Okay. Please
my
do
my
share.
kohai at kohai my
junior.
junior. So like I have a kohai and she's from Indonesia, and then like she left the school for just 6 months until she got in Japan, because like she couldn't bear with all the language barrier, the loss in translations and everything. So like you need to be super ready before you decide that you want to go to Japan. You have to learn about the culture, you have to learn about a lot of things, you have to learn about how the Japanese actually act, or how they just like how they live their life. So like you have to basically learn about it first. If you can't really get along with their
how do
I explain?
habit,
customs, you probably won't stay for a long time. So like make sure that you really want to go there, and make sure that you really have an interest of Japan, because like man, if you can't stand a lot of things,
I agree.
you probably won't stay there for a very long time.
It's really different with Indonesia.
It's super different. I mean, so before I went to Japan, I mean, I had interest in Japan, but like, I mean, I got culture shock. I got culture shock.
Yeah.
Even though like I had an interest in Japan before, but like when I first stepped my feet in Japan, like oh shit, everything is so different.
Maybe we can talk about it in our next podcast.
Sure.
Yeah,
and then can I add one
sure,
more?
please.
So this is related to scholarship. I think
Ah,
a lot of
scholarship,
you like
scholarship,
really interested about the scholarship because it helps you a lot in terms of financial funding. So university in Japan is same like in Indonesia. So they have like a batch for you to apply. For example, in my case, I applied to fall semester, which is starting in October, and I need to apply 1 year before, and then they start about in November. So November is gonna be the first batch. The end of the application will be closed in around March.
This is Monbuka Gakusho or
Mombuko, yes, is one of them. Yeah, Mombuka Gakusho. So if you apply in the first batch, you will get a lot of opportunity to get this scholarship, because every university have the quota? What is it? The capacity. Quota for the students, and some of them are even differentiate between the location. For example, there's a 5 for Southeast Asian countries, 5 for European students, 5 for Americans. So it's gonna be a lot of high competitiveness. So you really need to early bird or early apply. It's like a to buy something, right?
Yeah.
And then you really need to be in the first batch if you want to get 100% of the scholarship.
If you are, so I don't know, I mean, I don't really know a lot about Japanese scholarships, but I know that a lot of my friends were into the Monbu Kagakusho, which is the scholarships that the Japanese government gives to international students. I think this scholarship is the best that is there. I mean, they cover your tuition
rent
for the whole your whole study, and then they give you a monthly stipend. They give you allowance every month.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so far that is the best out there.
Yeah.
So I think Monbuko Hakusho always opens in April every year, or just like in the beginning of every year. So please, again, research.
Research.
There's so many things to research, and there's so many options.
Preparation is the key. That's
preparation.
What can I say?
Okay, so I think that is all our sharing session in this podcast-ish. If you want to study in Japan, please, one is research. 2, find the city that you love in Japan. And 3, please be strong. And then also for scholarship.
The scholarship one.
Prepare for the scholarship.
Yeah, prepare for the scholarship and find a lot of information about that.
Okay, so I think that is all for us. See you maybe in the next podcast if this podcast really works. Bye.